Hey folks, Ron here. A friend of mine called me today and asked, I had a bunch of concern about the tax cuts that took effect, or the new tax laws that took effect on January 1st of 2018. So I did a bit of research and come up with something I think that, it's got to be shared out because I know that of the people that I run into don't seem to understand. And we're already halfway through this year, more than halfway through, and we're just now shedding some light on some of the new law. Um, so here's what I found out. Who can take tax per diem deductions? I'm going to read from you on a site, and I'll flip that along here as I'm reading. Basically, anyone that is self-employed, contractors, or business owners, and in the trucking world, only self-employed, owner-operator truck drivers that operate under a 1099 or does not receive a W-2 from an employer can take this deduction if they, one, itemize their tax deductions. However, employees as of 1/1/2018 can no longer take this. It is eliminated in the tax code. Two, are subject to hours of service regulations. Now that one in by itself is somewhat interesting because if you're a company driver driving OTR, you're under the hours of service regulations. But apparently that does not supersede the action of the W-2. And three, that you meet the overnight rule. Four, have a tax home. In other words, a place of business or actual home to park your rig when you're off duty. And five, provide proof that you have traveled for business on the days they claim. In other words, you claim as a per diem allowance. So, a couple of interesting things that maybe some lawyers can look at and comment on if you're seeing this is the hours of service regulations rule. A W-2 employee can simply not, it's not in the tax code to take the deduction, even if you are running under an hours of service on a logbook. And number two, a question would be for employees under a W-2, whether or not their employers are obligated to pay the employee on receipts that are expensed while they're on the road for food, laundry services, things of this nature. Since they're no longer a tax deduction for the employees, that means that they have to be expensed to the company for which you work. So is the company obligated to pay or not? That's a question I don't have an answer to. It would be nice to be able to grab that. So basically, what is the rule? Let's see. The per diem overnight rule, and I'll put that up here now so you can see it. If you are an employee, the law makes it where all W-2 employees per diem and any other reimbursements must be reimbursed on your paycheck by the employer, and it is non-taxable. They cannot tax it. So keeping a record and turning in any receipts to your employer is required, as you will not be able to deduct business-related expenses on your tax returns. It would be advisable to keep a copy of all business expenses for yourself for tolls, meals, repairs, etc. to verify that you have been reimbursed. So again, are they obligated to pay? That's a question. And if they are not obligated, then that would mean that there's a lot of company employees that are being taken advantage of using this tax code. For owner-operators, however, to claim your per diem tax break, you must meet the Internal Revenue Service qualifications. One of these requirements is the overnight rule. In other words, you must travel far enough away from your home that you cannot return to your home in a single day of travel. Now, it goes on to say, however, you do not necessarily have to be away from home for a full 24 hours. For instance, a driver on duty for 10 hours cannot complete a 16-hour return trip without a rest stop. So that automatically means that your hours of service regulations and more than a day away from home. For example, I live in the Reno, Nevada area, and if I'm traveling like I am right now in Las Vegas, that's 450 miles from home. I cannot travel to Las Vegas and back in the same day, so that would mean that my stay in Las Vegas counts as a per diem night. And the per diem rate right now is $63, so you get 80% of that in claim. So $50.40 a day per diem pay. So it behooves you to talk to a tax professional. I'll say that, and maybe double check, because in this particular case, my friend did not keep any receipts for food or any of that, meals, because as of January 1st, she was under the assumption, she's a W-2 employee, under the assumption that she could still take per diem, and that's not true. So we're in July of 2018 right now, basically 199 days into the new rule. Yeah, you may not be covered on a lot of money. I mean, you've got to figure that per diem for most drivers is approximately a $15,000 per year deduction off taxes. So it behooves you to get a hold of your employer and find out, if you don't already have a plan to run an expense report, you may want to check into it. I'll see if I can't dig into this some more. I'd be happy to take some questions on this, but I thought it was important enough, since I haven't heard that until just recently. It's probably something that we need to be thinking about, and considering we're halfway through the year now. So drive safe, folks. As always, please subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you'll be alerted to my content. Have a great day.